Everything is getting more expensive these days. That includes camera gear. And expensive gear gets pushed so much, especially here on YouTube. Do you really have to spend a lot of money to get into photography? Kinda, but not always. Especially with people pushing vintage gear and film photography and mist filters where people want a softer image, not something that's always so clinically sharp. There's always cases where you need clinically sharp images, but you can get away without it in some scenarios. So I leaned into that idea. I looked around on Marketplace and I found a deal. I found the Canon Rebel XT. I actually found this on Facebook Marketplace. The camera, 2 lenses, a couple CF Express cards, and a couple batteries for 50 bucks. Overall, not a bad deal. So what is the Canon Rebel XT? Well, it's a DSLR from 2005 sporting, hold up, 8 megapixels. You can get this body on eBay by itself for, on average, 35 bucks. And I know what you're thinking, 8 megapixels, like the new iPhone 16 was announced and coming out in a few weeks, and I think it has like, what, 45, 48 megapixels. While those numbers are impressive and the iPhone can take good images, it's just not the same. And I believe with this, with the right lens and lighting, you'll just get a better image with this than an iPhone. And when I get done with these 2 Sigma lenses in the camera body, basically the kit I got off Facebook for 50 bucks, I'm gonna see how well these images look. And then after that, I'm gonna go to a park with me and my wife and my newborn son. I'm gonna use the Helios 44-2, the vintage Batman lens. See what kind of images I can get with, you know, such a budget loadout. I think I paid 50 bucks for this lens, including shipping. So overall, about a $100 loadout for their photo shoot. Let's start taking some pictures. All right, let's try to get some images of these. It should be noted that I am not a wildlife photographer. In fact, this is probably the first time, other than a wedding I did at a gator farm. I'll have some images up now of that. By the way, all these are on the 70-300. Pretty much shooting at wide open aperture because it's between a 4 and a 5.6. The autofocus seems to be doing pretty well. It's gonna be really funny if I'm taking a photo of one and another one just comes up and attacks me out of nowhere while I'm not paying attention. Blindsides me. Like somebody feeding him some bread. I will say the lens is holding up pretty well, especially the autofocus, at least so far. I have to edit these and see what they look like. All right, I think that's enough of that. Plus, I think the Lumix battery's about to die. So let's move on to something else. All right, let's get some vintage looking photos of my buds.
I'm gonna stay in the shade because of him.
Cause like part of you was in the shade and part of you wasn't. Fox. Look at me. Look back at me just like you had him. Lower him a little bit. Lower. Turn him. All right, Fox. I think that wraps up all the photos I'm gonna get for today of this video, this camera and lens.
As a reward for doing this video today, Jay is gonna take me to Raising Cane's. How much does a cup of cane sauce? Because you know you can buy like a drinking cup of cane sauce. You can buy a drinking cup of cane sauce. I need to get on TikTok right now.
Well guys, we've seen the photos. What do you think about them so far? In my mind, I think this camera, while outdated, you can definitely spend a little bit more money and get way more, right? I think it's actually pretty decent for the price to at least get into photography and start to know the basics, especially if you want to start shooting manual. Because this thing is so bare bones, it helps you out very little. if you can master shooting something like this, when it comes to like a new modern mirrorless camera, like the Lumix S5 II that I'm talking to you on right now, it will be such a breeze because you've already mastered the fundamentals. And so every little thing that the new cameras give you will just make your life easier. And another great thing is this thing's so cheap, I don't care what happens to it. I don't care if it breaks, but keep in mind though, it is really cheap. So if you're gonna do like a paid shoot, be careful, especially with it only having one card slot. I only buy cameras with 2 card slots, except for ones I want to have fun with. And like I said, this thing really makes you get really good. Like we see with the images from the Helios 44 II, because it was a manual lens, there's no autofocus and this screen sucks. Some of the photos might be a little soft, might be slightly out of focus. So if you have struggling with that, either upgrade the camera or get an autofocus lens like the 50 f1.8, the Nifty 50. So would I recommend this camera for a beginner? What kinda? If you only have 35 bucks for a body, then yeah, what else are you gonna do, right? But if you can save up a little bit more money, maybe like 100 to 115 just for the body, right? You can probably get like a Canon T3i, which then you can at least do like 1080p video. Then you have a little bit more money because you know 100 bucks is still really cheap for a camera body. You can invest in some lenses, or you want to start right now. A Nifty 50 on eBay is probably like 60, 70 bucks. Overall, you're looking for about $100. The same price that I shot my photo shoot in the field with. Do you think this is a good value performance? I mean, it does make film-like images, right? Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.